Well, that was something that can only really be described in one word. That was domination from Indiana in Game 6. You look at 108-91, it doesn't seem that bad, but this is a game that Indiana had a 31-point lead, absolutely smacked OKC around in the second and third quarters. Really didn't have to do anything in the fourth quarter. I mean, we had a garbage time quarter. You don't see that often, it feels like, but we had one of those last year in the finals, and it feels like we have one of those every once in a while now. You look at some of the stats, Indiana winning the rebound battle. That's no big surprise for them there. But OKC with 21 turnovers, Indiana only with 11. Indiana 35% from three. Then again, you got to add that garbage quarter that kind of jumbles things up in there as well. Same thing for Oklahoma City. It improved OKC's a lot, Tyler. They were 1 for 16 at one point. It's 6% from three and ended up at 26%. And then the field goal percentage overall just averaging out about as well as it could, both about 41% from the field. But this is a game that if you're Oklahoma City, you wanted it badly. I would think you would. It's game 6, you're one win away from a championship. But Oklahoma City comes out with that strong start, had a nice lead, 10-2. It looked like OKC has an opportunity to get things going. But Indiana, after the timeout, just wakes up, and it was a whole different ball game from that point onward.
Yeah, it's really disappointing on the Oklahoma City side because they did start out this game really well, but I don't know if it was the jitters of, hey, you're so close, or a combination of that plus the Indiana fan base was really getting after it as they should in game 6. And then maybe the Thunder, for whatever reason, thought, oh, with Halliburton banged up, we could come out here, play, our average game and go win. Guys, this is the NBA Finals. It doesn't matter, who's suiting up or who's not for Indiana. You got to go out there and want to dominate that game. Unfortunately, the Thunder just never quite reached that, I don't know why, but maybe this is still a sign of the youth. I have no idea. But you were just not mentally prepared clearly tonight if you're the Thunder to go do what you need to do and close this thing out.
Yeah, you talk about Halliburton. I think this was obviously a win. That was all Indiana needed. But to get this type of win, and for Halliburton to only play 23 minutes, basically, technically not even half of an actual game, this is the best thing possible that could have happened. You get 2 more days of rest after this, 2 more days to give Halliburton as much time as he possibly can and come back out there for game 7. But this was one of those where it wasn't just one guy for Indiana. And this is really who Indiana's been this entire season. Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell. How many times have they been a big story off the bench in the playoffs for the Pacers? We've seen it happen so many times. Obi Toppin with 20, TJ McConnell with 12, but you had 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals again in there. Mathurin, he contributes on the defensive side with 2 steals. Ben Shepherd had 2 steals. Everyone was just finding a way to pickpocket OKC, force those kind of havoc plays where everyone's fighting for a ball. Indiana comes out with it. Nembhard plays great, hits his 2 threes early on, really got momentum going there. The only guy who didn't really play well offensively for Indiana was Miles Turner. That's kind of been the story of the series, though, for him, 1 for 9 on the game, but he contributed enough defensively. I think he did a good job, again, locking down Chet when he needed to. Everyone was a positive. The only guy that wasn't was James Johnson, who got ejected in 2 minutes. I don't even know what he got ejected for, but you look at it, he had a plus and minus of -3, Johnny Furphy a -8. I guess Ben Shepherd at a -1. I really don't call those net negatives. Mathurin at a -18. I guess that's not the best in the world there. But just looking at it on the OKC side, this is one, and I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, Tyler, on this. This is a game where, I mean, with everything that could have gone wrong, it did. And Oklahoma City did not do themselves any favors. Oklahoma City at times, I think of the start of the third quarter. You have a 5-minute scoring drought. Your defense is stepping up. Indiana can't get a shot. It was honestly really ugly basketball. It looked like a bad college game. And Oklahoma City just could not get a shot. And then I don't understand why this started happening. Oklahoma City was 1 for 11 from 3. And there's this 2-minute sequence where they just start chucking threes. And they're getting good looks, but they're just not falling. They haven't been falling. And I don't know what Oklahoma City was doing in there, what that mindset is of, well, this one didn't go in. Let's try another. Let's shoot our way out of it. When it's 3 plays in a row that Indiana's daring you to try that, and you just keep falling for that same bait.
Well, because the Thunder have been streaky in that sense, with 3 point line. Unfortunately, I don't think they realize sometimes, or they forget that their 3 point shooting, when you look at it in these playoffs, has not traveled well. The Lou Dorts of the world, the Jalen Williams of the world, the St. Gilgis Alexanders have tended to shoot better from three at home. For whatever reason, they just haven't been able to shoot well on the road from three. And we're in the new age of NBA and basketball where it's like, hey, an open three's a good shot. So if it's open, you're not going to tell a pro player don't take that shot, especially when they know they can make it. If it doesn't fall, right? So that's just kind of the snake bite you get with that sometimes. So you combine a poor shooting performance tonight from Oklahoma City, some sloppiness, honestly, when it comes down to it, in
Yes.
terms of the turnovers that we talked about, and an overall lack of focus, whether that be offensively or on the defensive side. They haven't played defense as well on the road in this postseason either, as they have at home. All that's got to change for the home game on Sunday. You've earned the right to close it out at home. You don't want to get to this game seven, but you better show up, because if you don't show up and you let Indiana steal this championship, because that's what it'd be. You are the better team on paper through and through. You won 68 games in the regular season. When you look at the metrics, you are statistically one of the best teams in this era, both offensively and defensively, when you look at those regular season stats.
Yeah, do you
So
look at
you
all the net
cannot let
ratings that came out to this is supposed to
yeah,
be on pair one of the best teams ever if you care about the net
ever.
rating and things like that.
Yeah, so you cannot let this championship slip through your hands. There's no excuse.
No,
We've talked about, in the past, hey, youth or ahead of schedule. That doesn't matter now. You're here. You got to go get it done.
absolutely. And I mean, the thing that worries me a little bit about OKC, and this is different, I think, from the Denver series, because if you remember after game six, there was some worry amongst people, how will they handle the challenge of Denver? What they do, they blew them out in game seven at home. They just absolutely
Yeah,
wiped the floor with them. Aaron Gordon, came out on one leg and played amazing somehow. I don't know. That game still confuses me a lot, but uh, I think Indiana's a little bit different here. They're a lot healthier than Denver was. And we know Indiana is one of those teams on any given night. Here comes the 45% from three, where just, okay, we're going to have a 5 to 6 minute stretch where we're just not going to miss. Deal with it. That's the type of basketball we play. And that's what I worry about for the Thunder is what happens if Indiana has that stretch. How are they going to react to it thinking, oh no, this is happening again? Is it going to be a game one situation where you fumble a little bit and you fall and fold and end up losing? Or is it going to be a game five where that run happens, you come back, get the counter punch, and it's relatively smooth sailing from there on out?
you know what? Speaking on Indiana, what makes them different, as you allude to that point, compared to like a Denver or somebody like that, and what people don't really respect from this team. We remember the Atlanta Hawks, where they had five guys go to the All Star game, right? All
Right.
five of their starters. And everybody said, oh, wow, it's cool. They don't really have a superstar, so to speak, but they all commit to playing team ball. This is that team, but with actual big time talent. You look at a Pascal Siakam, you look at a Miles Turner, you look at Tyrese Halliburton, Obi Toppin off the bench. Like, these are all guys that can play. Are they superstars per se? Maybe not, but they can play. And with Rick Carlisle at the helm, they have done such a fantastic job. When you're an opposing team, especially against Indiana's offense, you have to commit to guarding all five guys at all times, because no matter who they put on the floor, they are a threat to you. That's just how their style works. And when they start getting the pressure that they do defensively, it becomes a real tough matchup for you to really guard them, because you can't count on somebody. You can't count on Halbert and say, well, hey, I'm always going to take this fast break and go do something with it. Maybe it's Obi Toppin, maybe it's, Siakam, maybe it's Turner, whoever. Like, you can't lock in on one guy.
Yeah,
You've got to
maybe
be in
it's
a
TJ
meeting.
McConnell doing his one man fast break as he seems to
Yeah,
do. I mean, it's crazy, and you make a great point
it's
about it.
tough.
It's
Yeah.
not just one guy because I've seen people tonight legitimately saying if Indiana wins, TJ McConnell should get Finals MVP. And you know, as much as that sounds like a meme, but you can't disprove that with how he changes the game when he comes in. It happened again
Yeah,
tonight. He
and
comes
they've
in
got
and just
multiple
changes.
guys doing
Yeah.
it.
The same thing could happen to Obi Toppin, where, it's just,
Yeah,
okay, he's going to come out and just get that corner shot he likes, and boom, off he goes. Momentum goes with him, and now Indiana's on a run. They completely change the game when one of those two guys are in. And it's crazy that this is the sign of a great team. When it's game 6 of a series, and Oklahoma City has tried to adjust to it, but there's some reason, there's some players, you just can't fully do that.
no, and another thing that kind of not worries me about Oklahoma City, but things that they're in their checklist of, hey, we've got to do this in Game 7, no ifs, ands, or buts. On those possessions where Indiana's going to move the ball and get a 3-point shot off, you've got to be ready for the long rebound if you're a Thunder guard. It doesn't matter who it is, Dort, SJ, whoever. And then if you're Chet and Hardside underneath, you've got to box out, because how many times have we've seen Indiana, take a three, miss it, but they corral that long rebound. Those guys get down there and get scrappy for it. So you've got to commit to rebounding, because that's killing you in some of these stretches that lead to, Indiana being able to get that momentum.
Yeah, keep in mind 11 offensive rebounds for Indiana tonight out of 46. I mean, you're talking about 25% nearly of your rebounds are
Yeah.
just offensive rebounds, that long board that you're alluding to there. But Tyler, we've got to talk about the other reason why I think this is happening. This is a bit of a silly one, but I might have played a little bit of a part in why this happened tonight. Because as I mentioned in the Game 5 video, we're in the process of moving around. That's why the video was a little bit shoddy earlier, kind of stilty a little bit, dropping in frames, trying to get everything reset for really when we get fully in swing in August and July and things like that. I forgot I completely had this, Tyler, but in searching around and moving around, I found this old Seattle Supersonics hat. You're not going to be able to see it because of the green screen and all that, but this old Seattle Supersonics hat that I found at an Old Navy once 8 years ago. And so
Okay,
Tyler,
that's
what
a cursed
Tyler,
item.
what did
That's
I
a
what did
cursed
I
item.
what did I do tonight? I wore it during the game. This Sonics hat
Wow.
here that you cannot see because
Wow.
of the amazing green screen that we've got going on here. So I put
You're a
it
real
on.
hater, Kate.
I put it on and
You're a
said,
real
you know
Thunder
what?
hater.
You know what? We're gonna roll the dice. We're gonna see what happens, and the Pacers won. So
Wow.
Tyler, I hate to tell you, but the hat's staying on for Game 7.
Wow. You better burn that hat.
I'm not burning the hat. The curse of the Sonics is a real thing, my friend. That you cannot win until Seattle gets their team back. They're still mad about that.
Wow.
They will always be mad about that.
Jeez. This guy trying to curse my franchise.
I know. See,
Even though
see, this is what
even though
happens.
Nico Harris, even though Nico's getting you set up with the next generational talent, we were cursing my franchise. I see how it is.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. You can't harm me. I watched us trade our second best player in franchise history away. I've already felt my share of pain this season.
Hey, it was just to make way for your potential first best player.
Okay. Come on. It was on Dirk's birthday, you're saying that too. Come on now.
Good.
Oh
Good.
man. But
That's
folks,
what you get for wearing the Sonics hat.
yeah,
How
but
dare you?
oh man. But folks, as always, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, leave a comment down below. Like I said earlier, I apologize a little bit for the dropping of frames and all that fun stuff in there. I don't know why OBS sometimes likes to do that, but it does. If you're listening on Spotify, give us 5 stars over there. But folks, it's going to be an interesting series. First Game 7 in 9 years. I think we're all ready for it. Except OKC fans who won the series to be done tonight. I can't blame them for that. But other than that, folks, it's been a fun ride. It's hard to think that it'll all be over Sunday. So until next time, have a good one, everybody.